As a parent in Canada, I know the importance of saving for my children's future, especially their education. Education in Canada is not cheap, so every little counts. And in this video, I want to show you how to save for your children's future, that is their education, using the Registered Education Savings Plan, or the RESP as I'll refer to it going forward. I'm going to tell you what the RESP is, what the benefits of saving to an RESP is, how to invest in an RESP, and how to maximize your investments in an RESP. We will also be looking at the rules of the RESP and the taxes you pay or don't pay with an RESP. So let's dig in. The RESP is a Registered Education Savings Plan, and it's one of the most underutilized registered accounts in Canada. The purpose of the RESP is to fund post-secondary education, and it is open to all Canadian residents with children. Sadly, many Canadians are not taking advantage of the RESP, and they are missing out of thousands of dollars of free money. So if you're a Canadian resident and you have a child below 18 years old and you don't have an RESP for that child, then I believe that you'll gain a lot of information from this video, and by the time we're done, you would have opened an RESP for your child, because that's the wise thing to do. When you open an RESP for your child, you get two benefits. One, you get free money from the government, and two, you get tax-sheltered growth on your investment. The government will match 20% of your contributions to an RESP up to a limit, which I'll get to in a second. These are grants that are free monies, which guarantees you a 20% return on your investment without doing anything. And that's amazing. The second benefit is that an RESP is a tax-sheltered account, which means that any income or any growth you make on the monies inside an RESP are sheltered from tax for a while. And that means that your investment in an RESP will grow much faster than if you put it in an account that wasn't a registered account like an RESP. I want you to see the RESP as a large basket of investments in which you hold stocks, bonds, mutual funds, REITs, ETFs, and even cash. And they will continue to grow tax-free as long as the investments remain in the RESP. Please note that the funds that you invest in an RESP are made from your after-tax income, which means that you cannot deduct your taxable income like you would with an RRSP. What this means is that the monies that you invest in your RESP is got from after-tax income, which means that you already pay tax on the monies that you're using to invest in the RESP, so you cannot go back and then go and claim taxes on those investments. But maybe you make enough money and you can pay for your child's education when they're ready to go to college and university. So why bother with an RESP? This is why. The average cost of university in Canada, including tuition, living expenses, textbook, is between $10,000 to $20,000 per year of study. So for a 4-year program, you have to cough out about $80,000. With an RESP, if you contribute $2,500 every year for 15 years to maximize the grants that you will get from the government, by the time your child turns 18 and is ready for college, you would have saved a whopping $85,000, and a considerable amount of that would have come from the government matching grants and tax-free income growth. Note that this would happen if you started saving for your child when they were maybe 1 year old. Can you now see the power of an RESP? You don't? Okay. Let me move forward. Maybe by the time we talk about the rules, you understand a bit more why you need to open an RESP for your child. So let's talk about the rules. An RESP has to be opened for a child who is the beneficiary, and you cannot open an RESP until a child is born and has a SIN number. You can make a maximum contribution of $50,000 for the lifetime of that RESP, and this does not include the matching grants that you get from the government or the income growth that you could get from your RESP investments. If you exceed your contribution limit, however, you'll be fined 1% on the excess per month, and this could cost you a whopping 12% in fines over the period of 1 year, And I don't think that that's worth it. So try and keep track of your contributions to an RESP, because nobody is going to keep track for you. The government is not keeping track. Your bank is not keeping track. So open up an Excel sheet every year and keep track of how much you have contributed to your child's RESP, so that you're not going above the limit and you're not paying that 1% fine per month. It is so important that you start contributing as soon as you can after your child is born, because the government is going to stop matching your contribution by the time the child turns 17. So you want to take advantage of as many years as you can before your child turns 17. So you should be contributing as soon as your child is born and as soon as they get a SIN number. If you, however, came to Canada with your child and the child wasn't born here, well, you have less time to contribute. So you should be starting as soon as possible after you land in Canada and after your child gets their SIN number. Even if the government stops matching your contribution when the child turns 17, you don't have to close the account. You can actually keep the account open until 31 years after you open the account, and even up to 36 years. This gives enough time for the child to actually go to school. So your child can actually use the funds in an RESP to go to school even in their 30s. So don't freak out that your child doesn't want to go to school. When they turn 18, the RESP monies will be there for them even well into their 30s. Now let's talk about taxes. The monies you contribute to the RESP is going to grow tax-free. The income on the investment, however, will not be tax-free. It will actually be taxed whenever it is withdrawn by your child, but it will be taxed using their own tax income bracket, which is going to be lower than yours. So the taxes on the income that you make from the investments that is in the RESP will be taxed, but it will be taxed to your child on their own tax brackets. With regards to how much you can contribute per year, there's actually no limit. There is a maximum lifetime limit of 50,000, and if you have the 50,000, you can put it at once, but I wouldn't advise that. The government matches your contribution of $2,500 maximum a year with 20% of $500. So if you were putting in $50,000 at once, the government can only match $2,500. So you want to be able to put in $2,500 a year, but there are exceptions. If you missed an RESP contribution in 1 year, or you contributed less than the $2,500 for that year, that means you have unused grant room that you can carry over to the next year up to a maximum of $1,000 in grants, which means that you can actually get $1,000 in grant in the following year if you missed out contributions for a previous year. But you can't do this for multiple years because you can only earn a maximum of $1,000 in 1 year. And I'm going to give an example. So let's say you contribute $2,500 every year and you get the grant of $500 for your child's RESP. However, on your child's 7th birthday, you lost your job and so you could not contribute that year. You would still have the $500 of unused grants for that year. The government won't match your contributions for that year if you don't put in any money. If you get a job the next year and you can now make your contributions, you can actually contribute twice as much so that you can catch up on your unused grant from the previous year. So in this year, you can contribute $5,000 to the RESP and the government will give you back $1,000 in grants. So that will be the $500 for the previous year plus another $500 for this year. But like I said before, you can only do this for 1 year at a time. There's actually a lifetime limit to the grant money, and that is $7,200 per child. So no matter how much you contribute or how you're getting your grant monies, one child can only get a maximum of $7,200 back in grant money, even though they have multiple RESP accounts. This Canadian Education Savings Grant, or the CESG, is available to everyone regardless of their income. But if your household income is below $95,260, this maximum limit is increased by $50 so that you can earn up to $550 a year in grants. And for lower income families below $47,630 a year, you can actually earn an extra $100 for a total of $600 in grants every year. Now, even though lower income families can actually earn more in grants, they still don't get more than the $7,200 limit for each child. No matter how much extra they get, they still are able to get only 7,200 in grants. But the only thing is that they are able to get it faster. And of course, they have more time to invest that monies than someone who was not in that income bracket. That is the advantage for lower income families. Another program that helps lower income families save for education for their children is the Canada Learning Bond, or the CLB. With the CLB, your child can earn an additional $2,000 in grant money as long as your household income is below $47,000. If your family has more than 3 children, the income threshold increases. There are additional grant programs in Quebec, Saskatchewan, and British Columbia. Please do your research to find out about these programs and see if you are eligible. Post-secondary education is expensive, so every little that you can get counts. Please note that the CLB grant that your child gets does not affect the lifetime limit of $7,200 that you get from the Canadian grant. It also doesn't affect the $50,000 maximum that you can contribute for your child, the lifetime of the RESP. So far, we've talked about what the RESP is, the benefits to contribute to the RESP, the contribution room of the RESP, and how taxes play out in the RESP. Now, let's talk about how you can maximize your RESP for long-term maximum growth. If you contribute $2,500 every year, you earn $500 of grant money every year. So I advise that you do this for 14 years. At the end of 14 years, you would have accumulated a total of $35,000 of your own contribution, and the government would have given you $7,000 in grants. Now you have only $200 more of grant left to claim. So in year 15, contribute only $1,000 so that you can get that final $200 of grant money. At this point, you have maxed out the free government money because you have received $7,200 in government grants and you yourself have contributed $36,000. But I thought you said we could contribute up to $50,000 maximum over the lifetime of the RESP. Yes, I did. So since you have contributed $36,000, you still have $14,000 to contribute. So what do you do with this $14,000? And I will tell you. If you continue to contribute to your child's RESP, even though you're not going to get any grant monies anymore, you would only be getting the benefits of the tax shelter. And this is a benefit that you can get from your TFSA, which is a more flexible account than the RESP. Because the RESP, the contributions you make and the monies in the RESP must be used for your child's education. With the TFSA, however, you can withdraw the money for anything, including your child's education. So I would advise you to put the remaining contributions in a TFSA. However, if you have maxed out your TFSA and you don't have any more rooms to contribute there, then you can still contribute the money to the RESP. You might not be getting the grants, but you're still sheltering your money against tax in the meantime. So you can continue to contribute that $14,000 every year at the rate of $2,500. Or if you have the $14,000, you can put it at once in the RESP because you're not like getting any grant monies. So you don't have to put the $2,500 every year. You can actually put the $14,000 and that money is actually tax sheltered and can grow tax free. A few things I want you to note about the contributions you make to your RESP. 1. Do not hold cash in your RESP. Yes, it is called an RESP, is a savings plan, but if you just hold it as cash, you'll be getting what? A paltry, maybe 2% interest income, and you'll be wasting that contribution room. Do not use it as a savings account. Instead, use it as an investment account to hold blue chip stocks and ETFs inside your RESP to gain much higher passive income through dividends, which you get completely tax-free. But please avoid holding risky penny stocks in your RESP because your children are relying on this money for school. If you make a bad penny stock investment in your RESP, you will lose the money. It's gone forever. You can't get it back. And your children are relying on that to go to school by the time they turn 18 or whatever age. So whatever you're investing in, make sure it's a company or an investment that will be there in 18 years' time when your child is ready for school. And even if you hold these investments in your RESP and you see that they are down, don't sell them. Leave them in that account to recover. That's why you need to have a long-term growth perspective when you're investing in your RESP. Don't be in a hurry to sell up just because an investment is temporarily down. Investments go up and down. up and down. So yours will definitely recover. So leave it in the account. Now, this is important. The RESP is tax-free for Canadian dividends, but not for US dividends. So if you hold US stocks or US ETFs, you will be charged a 15% US withholding tax on those dividends, even though they are in an RESP. So remember that an RESP gives you free grant money to invest in your child's education, and lower income families will earn more. You can contribute a maximum of $2,500 to get back $500. And if you missed out on the previous year, you can contribute a maximum of $5,000 to get $1,000 back in grant money. Make sure that you are not buying US dividend stocks and putting it in an RESP, because you will be charged a 15% US withholding tax. Do not put risky penny stock investments in your RESP. You have a maximum of $50,000 to contribute over the life of the RESP, and you can get back a maximum of $7,200 in grant money from the government. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was really useful. And if you've been struggling with yourself about opening an RESP for your child, I hope this convinces you. Or if you didn't even know about an RESP, I hope this has educated you enough for you to open one. I will do another video talking about how to withdraw from the RESP and what to do if your child eventually decides that they don't want to go to college or university. What happens to that contribution? Watch out for my next video when we talk about that. If you wanted to know about TFSA, check out this video here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.